disturbs us. We want to deny it. We want a rational explanation for it. If something disturbs us, we want to deny it. We want a rational explanation for it.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into The Room Where It Happened, an actual play. Wait, no, wait, that's the wrong one. Hi, thanks for tuning into the Standing Stone stream. That was on purpose. See, it's a bit.
I'm so sorry. I am bitless. I do not know humor. I'm English, you see, Brian. We have that removed at birth.
That's fair. Welcome to the Standing Stone stream, where we are streaming for 12 motherfucking hours to raise money for Fair Fight, an organization that fights voter disenfranchisement, particularly in the Georgia area. The runoff election is happening very soon. And it is very important. This election is very important. If you've not been following electoral politics, I understand. They're not necessarily the end-all be-all of getting things done, but this particular election is extremely important because it could possibly flip the Senate. Without control of the Senate, it's going to be virtually impossible to get any sort of work done in the next 2 years or 4. So we are raising money for Fight Fair. They do an amazing work. They help with voter disenfranchisement. They get people registered to vote. They get people to the polls. They work against like things that mostly the right is doing to disenfranchise voters. They're a really great organization. You should be able to do the exclamation point donate thing, and it will pop up the link. Down in the corner. Wait. Where'd it go? Hold on a second. Why is the status bar not popping up? Where you at, status bar? Huh. Well, here in a few minutes, you guys will have, oh, there it is. Okay. It's back now. I have down in the corner near our logo, you will see our goal for the stream. It should be on every one of these. I'll probably have to do what I just did on every one of these, I'm now realizing. my dark fate for the day. We're trying to raise $300. We have a number of donation incentives for the games. Where are our donation incentives for this game, if we have any?
If you donate $20, I will describe a radio show that is on the radio network that my character is the DJ for.
Oh, that's pretty fun. Do we have any universal donation incentives, like, for the whole day?
I can't remember the exact specifics, but for I think it was a $30 donation, you can request a vocal recording of me. I'll do a monologue. I could sing. I don't know whether you want to pay money for me singing, but I'll record a voicemail message for you. Whatever you like. Just I'm actually quite good. Apparently, I've made people cry, but in a good way. Not they wanted to. They wanted to feel feels, and I made them feel things. Look, okay, it's the beginning, and I'm in for a very long day, and I've had a long day already. This is
we
great.
are rolling this motherfucker with our best foot forward, baby.
If you want more of this very coherent voice saying things of your choosing, you could get it for $30.
Yeah. Buy your own bespoke British voice. Like, come on, that's a deal. $30? Come on.
Can also do a passable Irish accent and a questionable Southern American accent.
And not to mention your fantastic Bostonian.
I'm not Boston. That is for Thursday nights only.
That's for Thursday nights only. You know that, Zach. How dare you?
Oh, guys, we're still backstage. We should have to lever him.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
It's fine. The audio's at least coming through. Okay. So they're going to start. I'm not actually in this game. I'm just running all the streams today. I'm just backstage guy. So I am going to go quiet and let you guys take over. Have fun. Everybody have a good time. And stick around. We're going to have, like I said, we've got 12 hours of this. Next up, we're going to be playing The Tall Grass. Which is a sequel. We're going to do a sequel to our For the Honor game from last stream or stream before last.
I think it was a Portland stream.
Yeah. And then we'll be playing later in the day. We're going to be playing Thirsty Sword Lesbians after that. And then capping the night off, we're going to be running Zombie Survivalist 2nd edition. So it's going to be a good day.
That's going to be bonkers.
Yeah. Hang out, chill, have a fun time. We'll talk to y'all later. Have fun, guys.
Alrighty, now me and my lack of coherency is in charge. Let's see what happens. Hello, thank you for joining us. We are kicking this stream off with Urban Shadows from Magpie Games. We're using the quick start rules for 2E. It just finished its Kickstarter. I am very excited to play the full thing and didn't want to wait for that. So I was like, let's play Urban Shadows for the stream. Am I running it then? Okay, I'm running it then. Here we are.
I didn't have time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, fair. To give a little bit of a summary, if you aren't familiar with the system, Urban Shadows is a political urban fantasy tabletop role-play game in which mortals and supernatural creatures alike vie for power in a modern-day city. Vampires, fairies, hunters, wizards, and more clash in the shadows or make backroom deals for their piece of the streets and skyscrapers. And the players are going to be unique and powerful characters, protagonists who are attuned to the supernatural world. While most of the mortal world remains ignorant of the struggles of the cities, supernatural denizens, you are caught in the middle of the physical conflicts and political drama of the city's secret past, present, and future. I, the crazy British one, am the master of ceremonies for today, Jade Elliott. You can find me on Twitter at JadeOxfordRose. I use they, them pronouns. Let's introduce the players, and we will introduce their characters as we meet them. But if we go from left to right, rules. Jeff, as our guest, please go first.
Hi, my name is Jeff Stormer. My pronouns are he, his. I am playing Dirk Beauregard. Dirk is the executive producer and DJ for WSPN, member-supported university radio from the University of Verity City. I am an old radio DJ. I used to be much more keyed into the supernatural scene, but now it's pretty much my two passions in life are this radio station and also the fine art of puppetry, which you can hear me talk about every Monday night at 4 a.m. at Strings Attached, which is a modern look at the current trends happening in the puppetry scene. We talk to the movers and shakers. We talk to the people out here doing interesting things. If you want to hear more about puppetry, you can tune in every Monday at 4 a.m. to Verity City University Radio for Strings Attached.
Incredible.
Absolutely
Danielle.
incredible.
All right, so we are introducing our characters.
Yeah.
We'll get
Okay.
visuals later. It's all good.
Oh,
And we'll hear
okay.
maybe playbooks and stuff.
Yeah.
For people that aren't reading
I-
the giveaway.
I apologize. I was too excited to talk
it's
about
a good
Strings
bit.
Attached, and I needed to go for it.
Strings
It's a good
attached, very exciting.
Yep.
Very exciting.
I'm Danielle. I use she, her pronouns, and you can find me on Twitter at RedtailTalk90. The character I am playing today is Eorath Dawes, who uses he, him pronouns. He is the Fae archetype, and he works at the university as a history professor. And he just really wants to get tenure so he doesn't get fired.
Ah,
Incredible. A mood, I'm sure, for many.
and Zach.
Hello, my name is Zachary Frederickson. You can find me on Twitter at OffSkinandGod. You can find the music I make at iambugbear.bandcamp.com. There's a lot of other things I could talk about, but instead I will talk about my character, Hector Dismas the Wizard. A man who, when faced with a ancient institution of knowledge and learning, made sure he had the position best equipped to access at any time all of that knowledge and resources. Head of Custodial Services.
Okay.
I got
I'm
the
gonna
ring of keys.
put-
I got a Walkman full of downloaded MP3s of Dirk's not podcast radio show, because I am certain that it contains coded signals and messages.
Well, I also do have. I mean, Dirk has a podcast, which is Master of Puppets, which is actually it's actually a music review show, but it's not. It's more of a passion project. It's sort of going through the albums of Metallica one by one and really kind of like exploring the story of what I believe to be the quintessential American band. You can find that wherever podcasts are sold.
I'm going to die.
Ah.
I'm so glad that I decided to try to do a vaguely serious story. I should have researched Jeff better as a person. This will bite me in the ass later. That's good. So, alrighty. Just quick rattle through our lines and veils. Things we absolutely do not want to see, and you will not see/hear. Tune into the stream. Homophobia and transphobia, racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, violence against children and animals, sexual assault, domestic violence or intimate partner violence, unwanted pregnancy, or plagues and pandemics. Veils, which are things we're fine with addressing but will fade to black on, are steamy situations, graphic descriptions of bodily harm, though there's going to be blood. I can't remember the exact line about blood and rhetoric, but that. And terminal illness. With all that out of the way, I suppose we can dive in. Any questions, players, before I attempt to make sense of the universe as we know it?
I don't think so.
Can't think of anything.
Alrighty. So it is a cool January evening. Students have all returned from the winter break. Campus is a bustle. I mean, it's strange to see there's maybe not lots of people around, but it's business as usual here at Verity City University. Institution incredibly old as the city itself. Verity City has the fortunate, or perhaps planned, feature of being built upon a number of interlocking ley lines, and as such a hub of various different factions and movers and shakers trying to make their way in the world. The curtain between the mortal and the supernatural in some places rather heavy, in other places more of a sort of a light gauze that buffets back and forth in the wind, allowing passers-by to get a brief fleeting look on the other side. But for our cast of characters, they are fully aware of what lies beyond the other side, or are happily from it and have snuck through and are hoping that the other side maybe doesn't notice that they left. And speaking of, where does as the camera pans across campus, where do we find Yorith Dawes, Danielle? And what does he look like? Who is this? Who is this man?
So Yorith is a black man with broad shoulders. He tends to wear colorful clothing. Right now, he's probably wearing some kind of sweater over a button down in a bright color and just some slacks. And he's sitting in his office and grading papers.
What does he teach?
History. And because he's been around for a long time. And I think a lot of students like to take his class because it's very easy to get him off on tangents about, well, the book says this, but actually. And I think he's just quietly grading papers and absently chewing at his pen with teeth that are just a little too sharp.
Alrighty, and as the sort of camera pulls away, there is a knock at your office door, which is weird because your office hours aren't now. And you get up and open the door to find a very distressed looking young person, maybe a freshman, hair all over the place, looking, as I said, very distressed and begging for a moment of your time. But we'll come back to that because I want to get everybody else introduced. And the camera pulls away as you usher this student in. This isn't no, I think this is maybe a student of yours. It is. They know you, at least, even if they aren't immediately familiar. But the camera pulls away, pushes through the various corridors. And what does it find Hector doing?
Well, it finds Hector doing the same thing he does every day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is walking the halls, byways, and backways of Verity University, pushing his custodial cart, and arguing with a ghost. One of my close personal friends, one Laura Ziegler, who haunts the library and just cannot seem to put books back. It's not really my job as a custodian, but it is my pride as a wizard. Hector Dawes, Hector, not Dawes, that's you. Hector Dismas, named for the penitent thief, has short, curly, black hair that is turning gray with age, and these sort of wind blasted look of one who has peered beyond the veil. Golden eyes, a standard nondescript janitorial uniform, a grayish green jumpsuit and ball cap. Also make sure to have a Bluetooth in so that if anyone looks at him while he's arguing, he can just point at it and the only thing strange about him is he does have one ear pierced with a little jangly earring that is an eye that seems to be looking at everything. And the ring of keys on his belt is hard to focus on. When Like you look at it and you're like, oh, that's like 6 keys on there. And you're like, wait, is that 1 key? Is that 16 keys?
Alrighty. And as you're having this conversation, I say conversation with Laura, they are adamant that it's outrageous that they haven't been able to get over into Peachtree Dorms because they like being in that building. It has some of the nicest pipework. And look, they don't judge you for the things you do for your free time, Hector. Can you not give me that look? Excuse me, I have been dead longer than you have been alive. I don't need this from you right now. Anyway, whatever happened over there, it's not just the students they're keeping out. There's something keeping everything out.
Well, that's not up to regulation.
No, really? Really?
All right,
Can we-
I'll take a look at it. That's not. Why would they keep a ghost out of a dorm? That doesn't make sense.
See, this is why you're the smart one. And they sort of tap their knuckles against your forehead, and you feel that sort of uncomfortable brain freeze moment. And they really need to stop doing this to you, but they haven't yet.
Ugh.
And as you move off, as Laura like disappears through an adjacent wall, the camera sort of pulls up through the ceiling, up and up, so we get a bird's eye view of campus before sort of swinging down to the campus radio station. You're not on air right now, Dirk, so what are you up to?
Dirk is just coming back into the studio after so Strings Attached ends at 6 a.m. It runs from 4 to 6 on Mondays. So Dirk is just now coming back in. He took a little bit of a break. He's about to step into the door of the studio. He stops at the water fountain outside of the studio. He leans down. He starts the water fountain. He goes to drink water, but instead just splashes some water on his face and starts muttering, "You've got this. You can do this. You're star. You're star. You got this." Kicks open the door of the studio, walks among it, stops over a student's shoulder in front of some very fancy like MacBook computers. Leans over their shoulder. "Audacity, Charlie, you're a professional. Use real software." Like clicks the X button, closes out a program, walks over to another, walks over to a 4-pack of coffee, grabs that, and grabs a 4-pack of coffee, grabs a second coffee, hands it to someone as they are about to walk into the recording booth, and then just sits down in a swivel chair, spins around twice, just about falls over, sits back, and goes, "I love my job."
Oh, I love him. As you sort of sit in there sipping at your coffee, thinking about, yes, I am good at my job. I love my job. You notice that one of the students that normally works here isn't in, which is weird for him because he's occasionally late, but he's dedicated to this. You know, he wants to go into journalism. That's his major. And he dedicates a lot of time here at the radio station. Student by the name of Ed Park.
Ed Park. Eddie's not here. That worries me immediately because, I mean, you know, Eddie never expressly stated that they were my mentee and that I was their mentor and inspiration, but I sort of felt it in that way that you just sort of know when you're giving someone the advice that's going to shape them into the person that they are going to be for the rest of their lives.
It doesn't.
You just sort of know, so it doesn't have to be said.
And that's the thing. Like, his girlfriend is actually currently working on an art project, and he's been asking you a lot of questions about marionettes recently.
I am an open book when it comes to the topic.
Yeah, and do you say out loud like questioning where he is?
I think what I do is I at one point like I spin in the chair, I stand up, and I'm like, I ask Eddie if the water cooler has been if the water cooler jug has been replaced, and I don't get an answer, and then I kind of spin around. It has not been replaced, and that is probably my first key that Eddie is not here, because Eddie is historically been the person that has replaced the water cooler jug. And that's when I started asking around. I'm like, "Where's Eddie? Has anybody seen Eddie? Usually he's here by now." I mean, I give him a few minutes extra because he is my star and my mentee, and he is going to go farther than all of you combined. That's called inspiration. That's called I'm giving them something to chase after.
The room goes quiet. And there's a level of awkwardness, and one of the students sort of turns around to look at you. Where's my list? Come here, list. This is Sonny Kim, and he looks up at you from his seat. It's just like, oh, do they call you Mr. Beauregard or do I call you Dirk?
Dirk, they can call me Dirk. I'm cool.
Of course you are. And he's
Or
like,
Bo. They also can call me Bo.
I don't think any of them call you Bo.
I do offer it. I offer it to every student.
And he looks at you, he's just like, haven't you heard?
Did he get a job at TV?
No. And he looks around for support, and everybody else is like studiously avoiding looking at him. It's like, you volunteered to talk to Dirk about this. You're talking to Dirk about this.
Oh.
He's gone.
Oh.
You really haven't heard about what happened over at Peachtree with Chloe Sound?
No. Normally, Eddie's the one that gives me the campus report.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So actually going to have a meeting with him today.
Yeah. Well, you know Chloe, right? Ed's girlfriend.
Sure.
Yeah, she was murdered in her dorm room.
Oh.
And Ed's missing. They think he did it. The camera cuts away to your, and you have do you want to? Oh, I don't know. Making you roll to see if you recognize this student feels kind of mean.
Well, I mean, they can put a name to a face.
That's true. Circle moves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This person would be Mortalis. So.
Okay. Did it work?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, you know the reputation.
Okay. This is my first time playing any version of Urban Shadows. So apologies if I'm a little slow on rules at any point.
No, that's cool. So if on a 7 and 9, he knows the reputation, and you tell him what most people know about them.
Yeah. Alrighty. For people curious, Urban Shadows, if you didn't recognize already, works with the Powered by the Apocalypse system, which is one of my favorite systems. So I pretty much know which is on a 6 or less, you fail. On a 7 to 9, mixed success, 10 plus, good shit happens in theory. This is Delarose Sound. They've got a bit of a reputation of being one of those people that are sort of around more than you want them to. You sort of turn around and they're there. They're not especially popular, but they've got their little group that they hang out with, and they're pretty insightful. And they ask smart questions, often questions that people have no interest in answering, and they get that's part of why they're not very popular.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is sort of a nosy, insightful person that isn't super in with the mainstream populace.
Okay.
They them pronouns.
Okay. Yoreth, when he opens the door to see them standing there upset, immediately kind of backs up, lets them in, tells them to have a seat, leaves the door open but closes it slightly, just so that someone walking by doesn't see the whole of the office. And goes back behind his desk and sits down. And he he looks a little unsure of what to do, and after a moment of like aborted hand motions, he pushes a box of tissues towards them. And he says, what are you, what's wrong?
Apologies, I'm just double checking my mic because apparently I'm coming through crackly. Is it any better now? Because if not, it's probably a signal issue rather than my mic.
It seems better to me.
It seems better.
It was. I mean, you were clear more than anything else.
Okay, I think it's just the USB cable. Those cool. And yeah, they just sort of sit down, and they're clearly nervous as well. They don't take the issues, so they're not crying, though they look like they might. It's that kind of lot of emotion going on in the face that might erupt forth at any given moment. They look at you and like, Professor Dawes, you know stuff, right? You get people. And they're looking at you in a way, and I sort of flick to the teeth for a second, and up the eyes. Like, you know people, right? And things.
I think he gives them a closed lip smile, and very slowly says, "Yes, I know people."
Right. This is going to sound really weird. I don't know why. Well, I know why I came to you, because Chloe said that you were a person who would know things. People are saying that Ed killed her. And that is the line they lead off with. No preamble, no explanation. They just blurt that out.
Okay. Am I aware that, like, it seems like this is an event that happened relatively recently, but news has quickly spread through the school?
It's one of those things, you would probably have heard about it. This literally happened like at the sort of maybe the tail end of the break, so it's literally like maybe a few days ago. And the dorm has been closed since. Like the people that live there have been told to find alternative accommodation for the first week and to do like their lectures and stuff remotely until they can come in.
Right. Okay.
It's one of those things that the faculty or various parts of the faculty have definitely been making an effort to minimize information flow about it, but students being students, everybody knows anyway.
Right. When they bring up Chloe, Yorath arranges his face into an expression approaching sympathy. And
good work, buddy.
he's trying really hard. And he kind of nods slowly and says, "I have heard that, yes."
It's not true. He would never hurt her.
He looks sad, like genuinely sad for a moment. Sometimes people we thought we knew turn out to disappoint us in ways we might not have expected.
No, that's look, I know that. I'm not a child, okay? And they're like maybe like just turned 18. Like very baby faced. Look, I know how this sounds, and I know no one can find him right now, and that looks so bad, but he wouldn't do this. I know him. He couldn't do something like this.
Okay. He looks like he's going to ask one question, stops, changes tack.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about it?
I want the truth to get out. I want to find out what actually happened. And I thought Chloe always said that you might be the sort of person who could help.
He scratches the back of his neck and bites his lip. I'm not sure how much pull Chloe thought I have. I'm not exactly sure what you're wanting me to do.
I don't. I mean, you're a teacher as well, right? I mean, and you can do things. Can't you just like make people tell you the truth? Or is it that you can't lie? And then they look like, oh, I maybe said a thing I shouldn't have said. Have I just insulted somebody that could maybe eat my face?
I think Yorath's face kind of shudders and closes off, and he looks like he's not showing any emotion.
Mhm.
And he says, now, I know that there are some rumors that go around every year about weird Professor Dawes. But I really don't know that I can help you.
Fine, I guess I'll go have to find out some answers on my own. And they sort of get up and storm out. Or they go to storm out and just like, they look hurt. Like they thought that what they'd heard about you, that you would be an adult that they could trust and go to in this moment.
Hmm.
And yeah.
Wait.
And they sort of turn back, hovering in the doorway.
These papers can wait. But I think I know who we might be able to talk to. Come on.
And we will cut back to Hector. What are you doing?
I was about to knock on Orth's door.
Perfect. Amazing. Incredible. If you and Delarose leave your office and there is Hector.
Ah.
There's something weird going on at Peachtree Dorm. I want to see if you can go in the door.
Yorath looks from Hector to Delarose and back.
I think as this is happening, you get a text. Do you have a phone or a computer or some? I think you get a text that is. I'm not. I will leave it to you if you know the number or not. But it just says. Tell Hector I'm already looking into it.
Incredible.
Yorath looks at his phone, puts it back in his pocket, purses his lips, looks at Hector, sighs, and says, I just got a text that said, tell Hector I'm already looking into it. Do you know what that means?
It means Dirk can't keep his mouth shut. He was nosing his own business. This is custodial work.
Then why
I
do
think
you
Delarose looks at you like,
Dirk looks at Delarose.
Hector.
Hector looks at Delarose and has an extremely serious face, and it says, "A custodian's role is the safety and sanctity of a student body and a school. This is absolutely custodial work."
Yorath's eyebrows are just climbing higher and higher on his forehead.
I hate to break it to you, but I think you really fucked up your duties then.
I can't be everywhere.
Right. They sort of turn a little bit on their heel and start leading the two of you.
I am pushing my cart.
Mm-hmm.
I have my janitor's cart with me at all times.
Incredible. So Dirk is on the case. What does this look like? As
Dirk
the camera cuts away.
Dirk is standing outside of his studio. He leans down to take a drink out of the water fountain, and instead of taking a drink, he splashes water on his face, and he says, "You've got this. You're a star. You can handle this." And then he kicks open the door to the studio, and it is an entirely different group of students inside, whereas previously it was like, some underclassmen, some freshmen, like some people here who are for course credit. Here it is clearly upperclassmen who have been around a while and are looking actively for either like an internship credit, a connection to a larger organization, people who would be here at this moment by choice. Dirk has sent home all of the students that were working and called in his people. And he grabs a clipboard from one of the students and immediately starts rattling off, like, I want a record of every single person that went in. I want a record of every single person that went in and out of Peachtree dorms. I want a record of where I want every single notice of where Eddie has been in the last like month. If there has been a single branch has been broken in or around Peachtree dorms, I want to know about it. You all are the people that can do this for me. You all are the people that know this city. And also, we have this entire university bugged up. I think that we can probably find out a thing or two.
Oh God, this is your workshop.
We're all gonna do some great work today. And guess what? Pizza's already on its way. That's right. I hope everybody likes cheese. And then it slams the door.
All right. Before we continue, we have a donation of $22 from some dude. Thank you very much for your donation. I do not see any request for a particular incentive here, so if you want one, please post in chat.
Very cool.
Alrighty. So yeah, I'm guessing this is you are going into your workshop to work on something.
Correct. I want a detailed record of what has happened on the day and around the day of the murder. The thing I am trying to make is information about the circumstances surrounding the murder.
Alrighty. What are the 3 features your workshop includes? Because this is going to help me.
2 to 3 skilled assistants. Advanced high-tech electronics and computers, and an advanced surveillance system.
Incredible. Okay.
This is what we do. We are a news station. I mean, technically, we are sort of a variety station that really covers every aspect of modern student life, as well as just some, classic get it done sort of putting on a show style entertainment. But really, at its heart, we are cutting close to the issues that affect student life in the 21st century. That's really the mission statement of the studio. That
Aaron
really
Sorkin
showcasing a
voice.
love. That and showcasing a love of the arts, including puppetry.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Sorkin voice, we reported the news.
Sure. But as your crew start looking into this, they cannot get remote access to the surveillance tapes from Peachtree. They're able to start compiling all the other information you asked for, but you are going to have to go to Peachtree and pull the hard drives with the records on, because the remote system for some reason isn't working, and you don't know if it's because a line is down or what, but there is something stopping the information coming through.
Okay.
So what is it?
You must journey to blank in order to complete it.
Yep.
You must quest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do I find anything else interesting about all the other information that I get pulled together?
I think what you ought to tell is business seems to be going on as usual. There's nothing suspicious about it. He isn't a resident of Peachtree Dorm. That is where Chloe lives. No weird activity that you can go on. There doesn't seem to have been any visitors immediately around Peachtree. Like, there's nothing sort of suspicious going on. Just like, as far as the videos can tell, just the usual sort of flow of people that you might expect to see walking around campus and the dorms. And when you see footage of him and Chloe, they seem happy, which tracks with the way Ed talks about her.
Mm-hmm.
So the notion that he killed her doesn't strike you as likely. And also, like, nothing about his behavior indicates like out of the usual, like something was maybe influencing him.
Sure.
Otherwise.
Okay. All right, kids. I gotta make a run. I got a thing. Pizza should be here in, like, if it's not here, Llewellyn, write this down. 23 minutes. If it is here in 24 minutes, those are free pizzas, and you will not let that pizza delivery person leave with money. Well, you'll give them tip. I will give you money for tip, but it's 20, what did I say? 23 minutes? That pizza's free. And you know that pizza's free. And everyone in this room has now heard that in 22 minutes, it is now 22 minutes, that pizza is free. And I want everybody to note that. I reach into my wallet. I hand Llewellyn some bills out of my wallet. I reach into my sock. I pull out some additional money from my sock. I hand them the money from my sock. That is. I have counted it. I have tested it. That is the money that you're going to need for the pizzas. Everybody, just go eat as much. Just make sure that there's a few slices for me. You can leave them right in my office. I'll get to them. If not today, tomorrow, sometime in the next few days. I gotta go. You're all stars. You're all the future of media.
Thanks.
I leave my office.
I'm just like, people reluctantly sort of gather the money up and just like put it on the table. But yeah, so I think what this looks like is the three of you plus Dolores Sound arrive outside Peachtree Dorm at the same time. Because it's good that way.
Yep.
Sock money is gross. Thank you, Shannon, in the chat.
Gross.
It's about keeping money in different places. That's the trade. That's how that's called budgeting. You see, you've got your wallet money, you got your sock money. That way, once you know you've dug into the sock money, you know the line, the monetary line that you have passed that day. That's called savvy banking. They're going to teach you that in economics 101.
God.
See, you say a lot of words, but all I hear is, I was right to bury a bunch of gold around the school.
That's economics 201, my friend.
I think Yorath is rubbing his forehead and muttering under his breath, I don't even know why I tried to pretend to be normal.
Yeah, it's kind of a crock. Anyway, go through the door. Let's make sure you don't bounce off.
Okay. All right. Yep. He attempts to go through the door.
I'm looking at something.
Also, is
Also-
Delarose still with us?
Yes. Until you ask them to leave, they're sort of there hovering around.
Mm.
Uh,
Do you just try to walk in, Gareth, or do you like look around?
I'm probably all like I would if we it's funny to be like just walk through this door, it'll be cool, I promise. But we should probably look at the situation before
Yeah.
we potentially throw you against a ward.
Yeah, does somebody want to roll study a place of power?
Oh, that's one of them. Which one is that? Which
Yep, that's one of the circle moves.
ooh. Okay.
And this would be power.
I have a good power. Because I'm a
It's
wizard.
about rolling the circle. Oh, yes.
Yes.
My brain went, power's not a stat that we roll here. No, Jade.
It is. It is indeed a stat that we roll here. I love the place of power as a word. Yeah, I will roll my power circle, which is +2.
While you do that, somebody donated $50. I haven't got any kind of notification from them as to who they are, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Alrighty. On a 10 plus, on a hit, you'll see below the surface to the reality underneath. And you can ask me one question about the schemes and politics of the circle in question. And your insight here is going to grant you +1 forward against, well, that technically that would be against during the faction turn. But what I'll do is I'll let you have a +1 on the next roll that involves power.
Cool. Yeah, all right. So I know that Laura can't come into this place.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think that's my friend Leica in the chat. Hey, Leica. Thanks for tuning in. Laura couldn't get into this place. I want to see why. I want to check door jams, window sills, see if they're like salt or iron shavings or silver, or just wards carved in, chalk.
Mhm.
See what it is about this place that is blocking access from creatures of night at the very least, and potentially creatures of the wild if Yorith is unable to enter the room.
Yeah, you are able to sort of look around, and you quickly, you know what you're looking for. You've done your fair share of wards. You maybe even have something similar set up around your sanctum. But this is expressly set up fairly recently by the look of it. It's kind of slapdash. It's not the best work you've ever seen. In fact, it's rank amateur. But it is effective, just no finesse. And it is expressly there to keep out creatures of night.
Okay. We should be all right going in. But somebody wanted to keep something out.
Alrighty. Oh, it was Leica who did that donation. Thank you so much, Leica.
Thank you, Leica.
Okay.
Or Hogue. I think Hogue is his Warhammer character.
Alrighty. So
I
you all
pushed
head
my janitor's card in.
And you make your way into the building, and the power's still operational. A lot of the lights are switched off. But
I might have missed part of the description. Is there like police tape up and stuff?
Not at the main door. It was locked, but you have a master key. So,
of course,
as head custodian, I wasn't going to object to that. And there are the wards. So, but yeah, you're able to get in. I think it's easy enough to spot. Like Delarose is able to direct you towards where Chloe's room would have been, and that is where you will see some police tape strung up outside one of the dorm rooms. The door is shut. So you can't see inside, but there is the police tape stretched across it. What do y'all do?
Well, obviously this doesn't apply to me.
That sign can't keep me out. I can't read.
Well, I mean, meddling, walking onto a crime scene is illegal, and if there were any recorded record of us doing that, that would be awful. And I take out my phone and I hit 3 buttons, and then I just move the tape aside and walk through it.
Mhm. Hector watches him go through and he says, "Greater laws than those of men determine what I do." And I also walk in.
Della is left standing next to you with having listened to the weirdo head custodian come out with the second fucking esoteric bit of wisdom in 20 minutes. But like, does he always talk like that?
I would like to tell you no, but I can't.
Okay, I'm not gonna go in.
That's fair.
I'll keep watch.
Okay. Yell if there's any trouble.
I'm actually curious. I do want to, like, as we're like doing all this and this person, Delrose, is reacting to our stuff, I do want to kind of like get a beat on them.
Sure.
And be like, is this a setup? Are you the perp? And this is all like a trap? Who are you?
Is this a role you're making?
It would be figure someone out. Yeah.
Okay. Sure, please go ahead.
Okay.
That's right.
I'm just curious. Fuck.
Holy shit.
Boxcars.
Okay.
For whatever reason, the stream is not updating all our new rolls, but I'm rolling very good. I got a hot hand.
Okay. I don't quite get how advanced, but I think it's under 12 plus. So I'm going to let you have this.
I think it's the same way as Monster of the Week, where that's like an upgrade that you pick up as you go through.
Understood. All right,
Yeah,
then I will not let you ask
can,
just any question from the list.
No, I'm fine. I get 2
on
questions.
a hit, you ask 2. If you're in their circle, you are not in Della Rosa's circle.
No.
Yes.
So I have 2 things. 1, what does your character worry is going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you want me to answer that one first? Yeah, okay. They are genuinely worried about Ed Park.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you can tell. They're not worried about something exploding in that room. They don't seem nervous or shifty that something's about to happen here.
Mm-hmm. Well, then that might make the second one easier, which is, who's pulling your strings? Is there anyone manipulating this person or deriving them to this?
Not actively.
All right.
So the way they're working on somebody else's information more than anything, which would be it's why they went to Yorwith, because Chloe said that was the person to go to. Everything they seem driven by is by Chloe, this student that has been murdered.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I've rolled a lot, so if someone else wants to look around and do some investigating.
So, are you heading in as well, Yorwith?
Yeah.
All right then. So the 3 of you head into this room, and there is a not insignificant amount of blood around. But I feel like between the 3 of you, not more than is justifiably inside a single human. So it's not like this is too much. This is unlikely amount of blood.
Hey, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I just want everybody to know this is a normal amount of human blood.
Well, yeah.
Just wanted to float that out to the room. That's just like I'm looking at the blood in the room. This looks like the amount of blood in a person.
Thank you for clarifying that for us, Dirk.
I'm good at my job.
It seems like your fairly standard college dorm room. It is a single. There is the two things of note in this room are a sort of altar shrine with some remnants of something that's clearly been broken and damaged by the window, and sat in on the I assume no, it's a secondary chair propped in the corner is a half-finished, half-scale person marionette puppet.
Here we
Yep.
go.
Shit, this is your business.
Would I be here if it wasn't?
Yes.
Yes, because it's a great story and it's gonna be it's I mean, this is the new serial. So yeah, obviously I would be here, but
God, why don't you text someone with your cell phone about it? And Hector does air quotes.
Why
this-
are you using air quotes? A cell phone is a real thing.
I look over at Yorith. That one was weird to me, right? Like that was weird.
Yes. Yes.
Like I know that I'm
yes.
weird. I know that I'm weird, but like that was weird, right?
You are both differently weird, yes.
Hector gestures at the beeper on his belt.
Oh my god. Fuck. Okay.
Hector, if you weren't a very high level donor to the Master of Puppets Patreon, I would not be. I would be much meaner to you right now.
Well, one must do what they can. Anyway, look at that puppet. Fucking weird.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna closely examine this puppet. I want to know. I want to try and know. Have I seen this puppet before? What's the deal with this puppet?
I'm trying to think which of these roles is actually the best fitting here. I'm quickly having a look. Don't think it's that. Why is there no general investigate here?
I know, right? I was just thinking that.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
weird.
study a place of power?
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be that.
Okay.
Yes, this would be Mortalis.
All right. So my mortality is 1, is that correct, or should I have more than that?
That
Let me double check. Let me double check real quick.
I think that's right.
Yeah, that's correct. All right.
Okay.
Let me roll
Okay,
that.
give me that study a place power roll.
All right. That's a 10. That's a success.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
So you will have a +1 going forward. And you can ask me a question.
Any question, or is there a list?
There's no
We're-
list here.
It says one question about the schemes and politics of the circle in question.
But you don't have to. Yeah, you could just ask me a question because we're using this in place of an investigation roll anyway.
Uh-huh.
So please ask me whatever the fuck you like about this.
This wasn't is this puppet an ordinary puppet, or is there something strange, unusual, or mystical about it?
Like a homunculi.
Yeah, like is this, especially because this is not Eddie's room, like this is not Ed's room. This was I've named him Eddie, and I feel like that's a very Dirk move to just assign a nickname to this person, but this is
It's
not
very good.
Ed's room. It is not Ed's space, and so like the fact that this puppet is here raises a lot of questions, and I want to know that if this is an ordinary puppet or if this is somehow affected or carved with a purpose, or if there's something special or unique about this particular puppet.
It was originally an ordinary puppet being built by somebody, and you would remember that where Eddie asked you a lot of questions about marionettes, he said it was because his girlfriend was building one.
Hmm.
It is no longer an ordinary puppet. There is this thing is humming with an energy you can't quite figure out, but it's definitely supernatural.
Is there a soul in that?
There's something in it. It's definitely humming with a supernatural energy, and Hector, I kind of feel like that's your deal. So I'm gonna step aside. But there's definitely this is not a traditional marionette. I could tell you the history of a traditional marionette, but once it seems like maybe souls get involved, that's sort of outside of the average purview. Though I do think we could probably do a special episode about this around Halloween time. I think we could really capture people with that. But that's I'm thinking ahead, so I'll step aside and let you do your thing.
Right. All right, 1 second. Let me gather my bearings, and I start to jingle my keys
Mm-hmm.
as I channel my mystic powers.
Uh-huh.
My keys are my focus.
Nice.
As Delarose, this is probably a very strange sight as my keys begin to multiply and like animate along the key ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a weird fractal of room keys. As I roll my move.
So you're channeling, yeah? Roll with spirits.
Boom.
That's a success.
That's a success. So I hold 3.
Mm-hmm.
And actually I hold 4 because my focus allows me to gain additional hold while channeling.
Okay. So your hold lasts until you spend it or the scene ends. You can spend it to cast any spell you have as per the spell's details.
Cool. And I will reveal those spells as they become relevant.
No worries.
Or hold. So that was just setting up. I actually, unfortunately, none of my spells are going to help in this situation, but I did want to just have some hold ready in case stuff started happening.
Sure.
I actually have to let it out to detect the presence and function of magical items or spells.
Okay.
Which is also going to be a spirit roll.
Okay.
So Hector, the little eye earring that he's got starts to like kind of hum and vibrate as Gerard Key style eyes like kind of glow through his jumpsuit. I've discovered that I've made an avatar of the beholding.
Uh-huh.
But as I go and inspect this puppet, and this is going to be the one I fail. No. Holy shit.
You sort of you release a little bit of the magic that you're channeling.
Mm-hmm.
And under you blink and you can see like this aura appear around the puppet. And you're right, there's a fucking soul in there. And it has been crammed in there. This was not a vessel intended to hold a soul.
Mm-hmm.
And you can immediately tell looking at this that it isn't going to be long before either the shell breaks and knowing the wards that you saw on your way in and whatever's in there is going to get nerfed by those wards the second that soul is out of the protection, or the soul itself is going to wither away because it is not meant to be confined in this container.
Chloe, right?
Are you talking to the soul?
Yes.
I think you don't hear it with your ears, as it were. I think you sort of hear it more in your mind because of how you're channeling, and you hear a very sort of dejected sounding no.
Oh boy, that's worse.
They took her.
Took her. Is this Eddie?
And you pick up just sort of like this sort of relief. It's like, Yeah.
When you say took,
Please don't call me Eddie.
Ed, word,
Yeah.
Ed.
Yeah.
Ed's good.
Ed is
Ed.
fine.
Can I ask a question?
This is
You
your
can't hear him
protege
at the moment,
here.
but
Oh yeah, all right.
yeah, no,
It's
but dive in.
everyone else is seeing. Does this puppet have like a design, or is it like half built, like half not even painted or anything?
It's not painted yet. You know, like those little models artists use. I imagine like a completely blank face, like it hasn't been carved in yet or painted.
So what everyone else sees is Hector kneeling and holding both sides of this marionette's face and just staring intently and has not said anything.
But you can effectively translate. And what I
Yeah.
will say is, knowing how your magic works, if Dirk or Yoeth was to like put a hand on your shoulder or something, they could like patch into the call.
Sure,
Because
sure,
that's
sure.
good and fun.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. So, come on, feel the power. Let it flow through you. When you say took, is Chloe alive?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. She was before everything went dark.
Hmm. Okay.
She saved me, sort of.
Yeah, it's a little bit of body, soul, musical chairs.
That she made it so I wasn't gone. This was to keep me safe.
Gotcha here. Well, it's promising work, but it's not. Pardon me.
Bless you.
But there's it's not going to hold here. I'm going to spend what of my hold to provide armor for someone nearby.
Ooh,
Effectively, I want to try to like patch up the cracks in this vessel so that Ed is safer for longer. I'm gonna have to take you to the reading room to maybe figure out a transfer for this, but it sounds like Chloe's in a bit more trouble than this ticking clock.
And on that, I'm going to ask for a 2-minute break because I drank all of a can of energy drink, and I really could use a bio break. And we are
Absolutely.
around almost at the halfway point. So if we take a quick 5-minute break,
Mhm.
be back by 20 past.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Brian, if you're around, can we put the be right back screen up?
If something disturbs us, we want to deny it. We want a rational explanation for it. something disturbs us, we want to deny it. We want a rational explanation for it.
There we go.
Okay. Who is Matt Pat? Just so in the
He's
chat.
a
right?
game theory guy.
Oh, cool.
He's the guy who gave. I think he's the guy who gave a copy of Undertale to the Pope.
Incredible. Okay. Right. So, and we're
Welcome
back.
back.
You're in this door room. You have a half-finished, let's say, child-sized puppet. And I'm sorry to use that as the point of reference, but my other reference was going to be Halfling, which is just me with my entire ass on the internet once again. About because it's not finished, it doesn't have a full set of legs yet, but I'd say it's
Ooh.
maybe about 3 foot tall in total. This
Mhm.
puppet. So, but yeah, you have this marionette with the soul of Ed Park inside, and the news or the information that Chloe Sound is not dead, or at least wasn't murdered in this room, as rumors would have you believe, and as the blood on the walls might suggest.
Mm. So,
What do you do?
all right. So, I don't know that you need to get the security camera footage. So you should probably get the security camera footage. I know that we have a missing girl. And we are in her room, which is full of things that she has made and imparted meaning onto.
So yeah, to go over what's in the room again, as well as the Ed the puppet, as we're now going to call him. We have it's your pretty standard room. Like there's I'm going off my dorm room at uni. So you got your single bed, you got a desk, a normal sort of desk setup. There's art supplies around. String of lights, obviously not at the moment. Actually, I think if you given the roles you had, they've blown. As has the overhead light. There's enough light coming in from the lamppost outside the window to light this room. That gives it that cool noiry vibe. I've decided.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm the master of ceremonies and I say so. And there is, as this damaged looking altar set up, which is a thing that does not. There's like, aside from the puppet, I would say this is the one thing that sort of sits a slightly unusual. But given the nature, this is the sign of some kind of practitioner, but there's on a passing glance, you're not sure what. But given the fact that there is a soul that got put in a puppet and wards,
she was a witch of some kind,
or knew enough to get by.
Really quick, we have another donation. I haven't received a note from it, but this donation looks, if I'm doing my math right, is for $70. So whoever that was, thank you so much. And please tell us what incentive you would like in exchange for your very generous donation.
And I just want to address in the chat, the altar, I'm doing a bad job of describing. The altar is not creepy. I want it in vibe. It's more like a home altar that a practicing Wiccan might have. It's that sort of energy. Less, I sacrifice things here, more this is where I gather my focus and stuff. Vibe.
I touch the puppet and I say, Ed, was this altar, this was hers?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. And I am going to place my hand upon the altar and spend another hold to activate my tracking spell.
Is that the three of you? The three of your holds now?
No, I have three. I spent one of them to shield Ed's body.
And this is your second one.
This is my second one, yes. Because like inspecting Ed was a let it out roll.
Okay.
So I spend one hold to learn the location of a specific person, and I must have a personal object that belongs to the target.
Okay, 1 second. You do this and you release the energy. I want you to roll Keep Your Cool.
Okay.
As you hit up against something.
Oh. Well, I am the opener of doors, friend. I succeed partially.
Okay. You feel like this pulse head out from you, and it bats up against something fiercely powerful. Now, you could maybe push through to try and get a better beat. You have maybe a neighborhood kind of sized space. Like it's like hitting the side of a dome. Like, oh, this is large. And you know enough to know that something that big and that powerful has got a lot of juice running into it. So you're going to have to burn your other hold and take some damage to get through. And even then, you don't know how far, because after you get through that initial barrier, it's going to be like wading through treacle. So alternatively, I will let you burn the hold to get an idea of whose barrier this is. Like the source. Not supposed to the where it originates, but like the flavor of it.
The progenitor.
Yes.
The creator.
The creator.
Fantastic. Sure. So burn both
You'll
hold
have to burn,
do that.
burn that third hold because
The
you use
third
one
hold.
to do the shielding, one to cast this spell, and you will need to pump this juice into it to get that information.
Cool. Yeah. Let's say so. Hector's eyes are closed, and like his hair starts to flow all over, and a third eye opens on his forehead as he like really concentrates.
Okay.
So I have one hold left.
Mm-hmm. And you, as you push this, the first flavor you get is like it's almost like it comes to you almost as a scent first, and it's like nightfall. It is moonlit grass. It is the way the wind feels when the sun is down. And as you concentrate, the scent of blood comes with it. And then you push a little more, and you start to get the vague shape of who or where it comes from. And you are able to place that this is awards created by the vampire clan, the Onoroi, who are an incredibly old, they're one of the oldest families in Verity City. They can trace back to the founders. Of course, the public face is that the family line goes all the way back. The truth of the matter is it's the same people.
Mhm.
So,
Classic
vampires.
Immortal.
The classic bit.
Love that bit.
Love that bit. But the Onorois specialize in entertainment. They are the supernatural equivalent of the Murdochs, if you will, and just as unpleasant. But they seek to control people's perceptions of matters. They're very big on maintaining the masquerade.
Well, that's disconcerting.
While Hector is doing this, Yorth and Dirk, what are you two up to?
Yorth, what's your plan here?
I don't know that I have one.
Because I'm thinking I'm probably gonna head to the head down probably down to the front desk and talk to the head of like the dorm the head of dorm security. But like, so I'm not so what are you can come with if you want. But I got an appointment with the head of security downstairs.
You could try do someone a favor, or you have a debt, right? Somebody owes you a debt. You could go see if the beast could help you.
Yeah.
The whole shtick with them.
Yeah, I think I might do that because they're supposed to be guarding the university. And this happened. So yeah, I think I'll hit up the beast.
Okay. Which do we want to do first?
Whichever.
Let's do the beast first.
Okay.
So Yoeth, who is the beast?
So the beast is a construct that I brought here from my homeland at great cost to myself. And it safeguards the university from supernatural threats, or at least it is supposed to. And I think it's some kind of small to medium-sized animal, or it looks like one to the majority of people. But to people with power, it like you can see the huge hulking beast that it is. And I think that it has some kind of patrol route around the campus. And Yorath kind of leaves Hector to his investigation where he is. Dirk says that he's going to talk to the security. And so Yorath goes out of the room, looks for Delarose, and says...
They were kind of, although they were supposed to be people, they were basically eavesdropping on the entire conversation. So they're like leaning against the wall by the door just on the outside of the room, and they've been listening to everything that's been going on. And they look at you like, hey. They don't say that. They're just sort of like, yep, I was listening.
How much has Hector narrated to us? Because he was having most of the conversation with the puppet just in his head, right?
Yeah. Not much narrated, and he hasn't finished the war. I think this is all happening simultaneously to him, like pressing against the Oneroy's wards. So he hasn't been like, yes, the vampires that own Fox News killed this girl or took her body or did something. Like, he hasn't said that yet.
Sorry, when you phrase like that, yeah, that is what I did, but also I am amused.
So I think before he walks out, Yorath would walk over to Hector and quietly ask, like, for the Cliff Notes version of events.
You're asking me? No?
Yes. Yeah. I'm just asking, like, you seem to be following a lead. What have you got?
Well, I have to talk to some vampires about why this girl's body or soul or something is behind their fence. In a sort of juvenile abstraction, I have to hop the fence and get our ball back. The ball being a human soul.
I don't think that explains as much as you think it does.
Okay, so Chloe has the makings of some sort of hedge magician, perhaps a witch. Perhaps if she keeps reading, she could become a wizard. This blood might be a red herring, or it could be Ed's. Because Ed is dead, but Ed's soul is in the doll. Chloe is alive because I can feel her when I search with my tracking spell. But she's behind the wards that the Oneroy have put up, and they're bad people. So he goes to his janitor cart and he reaches into one of the trash bags and he pulls out a sword. I have to go see about getting a girl back.
All right. I need to pay a visit to somebody. At which point he walks out and sees Delarose leaning against the wall. I'm going to pay a visit to a friend. You're welcome to come with me.
Are you sure?
Would you rather stay here?
Glances into the room. Glances at Dirk shooting back, assuming Dirk say, "No, I would not."
Okay. All right. So he leads them out of the dorm to one of the pathways. What I have lost sense of time here. What time of day is it?
I would say it was evening when Dolores came in. I would say a couple of hours later. So we're probably getting on towards midnight.
Okay. So he goes out and finds a particular pathway. And to Delarose, he probably looks very strange, more strange than normal. Brian, where the fuck did you find that?
Oh no, that's not even showing up for me.
Yep, the soul is a ball.
But he looks like he's looking in bushes and behind trees and like under benches and and stuff like that, looking for the beast.
It doesn't take too long. Like, you know, the routes
Mhm.
that the beast patrols, and eventually just sort of like stalking out from between two trees. And I imagine part of me is imagining something that's a cross between like, actually I'm just kind of imagining like a robotic version of Ludo from Labyrinth. So sort of like very large shoulders, like mostly walks forward on like, but walks on the knuckles like a gorilla.
Mhm.
But there's also something faintly dog-like as well about the way it moves. But and it's a construct, obviously. So, but given that where it comes from, I think this is almost looks like it's made out of living wood rather than metal. And you sort of have that, and it creaks the way that like tree branches do in the wind as it moves, and it's sort of like you see like these little bits of light. Its innate magic shining out from it as it moves in the joints.
What does it look like to Delarose?
I think this looks like, what's the fun thing for it to be? I don't want it just to be a cat. Like I want it to be something a little bit bigger than that. But not as big as it is. I think I'm gonna play. I'm gonna. It could be. That was good. Now I wish I had said that. My other thing I was gonna say it's a Great Dane because I want to play to Danielle.
Oh.
So it's a Great Dane sized cat.
Oh my god.
That is very, very fluffy.
That's like a mountain lion. Okay. So a fucking large
it doesn't
cat
have to look like this to mortals.
Yeah.
This is what it just looks like right now.
Yeah, no, that's good.
This is the Verity. It looks like the Verity City's university's mascot is what it looks like.
Yes, good.
Which is a very large, fluffy Norwegian cat.
The Verity City Rascals.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
Go Rascal!
And does it have a name besides Beast?
Did you guys give it one? I feel like it was probably just the Beast.
Right. I think Yoreth would have felt weird just calling it Beast when he talked to it. So he probably would have given it a name. And now I can't think of any other name besides Rascal, so thanks, Zach.
I can't do the Rascal voice, otherwise
you come seeking information.
That no, because I will then try to do the voice and it'll be worse than my Boston accent.
Jesus.
I think it sees you and sort of like bows its head a little bit.
And Yorath kind of does a little small flourish back. And he only looks at Delarose once in like a self-conscious way. And then he kind of like rolls a shoulder back and turns to face the beast and says, "Now, when the news first got around that a student had been killed, I thought it was mundane. But it sounds like maybe you let something slip through."
It lets out this very sort of disgruntled noise and like shakes its head from side to side in that way that cats and dogs do when they're being told off. It's just like, or they like eat something they don't like and they're like, oh, kind of upset face. And you hear its low voice go, "No, I patrol. I have seen nothing walking the campus that shouldn't be. I have smelled nothing. I too heard, but there was no noise, no screams. I felt the ward go up inside, but I do not know. I did not see anything."
And Yoreth like pinches the bridge of his nose. "You haven't seen any vampires around?"
Then it just like lets out like a visible shudder, just like, no bloodsuckers, no. And you hear a huff of a laugh from just behind you, Yoreth. And you glance up and in a tree nearby is a long-legged motherfucker with a cocky grin, white hair pulled back into a ponytail, and like what looks like massive platform boots on, like done up like I think like not trip pants, like sort of like think like punk rock skinny jeans kind of, but not necessarily in the red tartan. But just like and like massive platform boots, or that's what it looks like. And like piercings glinting in the moonlight. And as a hop down, just like, "Be kind to the poor thing, darling. It's only so smart."
Yoreth looks at this new person and then looks back at the beast and sighs. And he says, "I know. Well," he looks frustrated that he agreed with something that sounds mean on second thought.
Yeah.
And
the individual sort of like drops down to one knee in front of the beast and not caring apparently the glamour ripples slightly and you see this creature's true form, that of a violet-skinned satyr who's like 6'10", and what was the boots is hoofs, and he's just like giving the beast scritches, just like, "Who's a good beast? Yes, try so hard." Just like treating this massive construct like a dog.
Vione, what are you doing here?
Look, I glance over their shoulder. He's just like, "What? I'm allowed to be here."
Yes, but showing up in a tree at the middle of the night.
On brand.
You know what? I can't argue with that.
and they hop up. You sounded like you were having trouble, dear. And so here I am. About that murder business.
Yeah, it's... And he glances over at Delarose. Complicated.
Most interesting things always are.
Mm-hmm. How is Delarose reacting to all of this?
I think they're seeing a very hot satyr and going, why are there so many hot supernatural creatures? I am a helpless gay. I knew the supernatural was interesting, but I wasn't expecting it to be so attractive.
Okay.
The person whose character I am using for this will know this is entirely apt for them and will appreciate what I'm doing.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, but yeah, we'll carry on. We'll wrap this little bit and go see what Dirk's up to.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't seen him in a bit.
Um,
What seems to be the trouble, dearest?
Some vampires have kidnapped one of my students.
Well, that's impolite.
Exactly. I know Hector's already planning on going to pay them a visit, but I was hoping... and his gaze looks... He turns over to the beast, that I might be able to have a little bit more information before I charge into battle.
Well, and I'm sure it'll confirm if need be, but if our beast here didn't see them come in, then clearly they came through another means. Don't just have to go walking in through the door like a normal person. Portal of some kind.
Yeah. Yeah,
Obviously. They've got a number of people on the payroll.
that's true. All right.
If they came in that way, then clearly they didn't want to be seen. And given that everybody's talking about this like a murder has happened, then clearly that's what they want people to think. So they don't want people to know they were here, and they want people to think that it was mortal business. When it's not.
Yeah.
You're a smart boy, darling. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
He blushes a little bit. And looks at the ground, scuffs his feet.
Aren't you a bit too old to be embarrassed like that, dear? And he just starts strolling off and like pats his hip, and the beast sort of looks at you, looks at Vione, and trots off after him.
Good, great.
And while Delarose and you're sharing a gay panic, let's cut over to Dirk Beauregard.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Real quick, just so that I know, so that I can continue making my notes for my very important side notes. How much money have we raised so far?
Let me refresh the page. 145.
All right, good. Because I've got about 20 show notes. I've written down about 20 radio shows, and I needed to know how many of them I'm going to read at the end of the stream so far.
Incredible.
They're all very good. They're all extremely, extremely good.
We would expect nothing less.
So Dirk is down at the front desk of the Peachtree dorms, is asked formally to meet the head of the head of security for the dorms to get his hands on those tapes, and to do so I would love to put a name to a face.
Hell yeah.
And I would love to call in an old friend and an old favor.
Okay. Give me that roll.
All right.
Do it with advantage, because Carvelian here has admitted to donating, and has requested not only a Jade monologue, but to make it rain with 4 advantages. So.
All right.
Okay.
Where am I clicking? Where do I click my move to do this?
What's the name to a face? You're rolling with the circle. This would be Mortalis.
No, I'm rolling with mind. Old friends, old favors. I roll with mind when I'm putting a name to a
Mm.
face when I first encounter an NPC.
Oh
Mm.
yes.
Okay. In that case,
So-
you just click one of the mind moves.
Yeah,
and
I'm
be
just
like,
gonna click, and then I guess should I just put it up to 3? No, I'll click 2, and then how do we do advantage with the Roll20 app?
Roll a. Well, that's a good.
Yeah, roll
question.
one more d6.
Alright.
Because you rolled a 1 and a 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Hell.
that's a 9. So that's an
Yes.
11. So that's a success.
Yeah.
"Yeah."
Is there anything specific? I don't have the veterans sheet up in.
On a hit, they offer you comfort and aid, even if exposes them to danger or retribution. On a 7
Mhm.
and 9, I would tell them why I owe them a debt. On a miss, I would tell you why they want me dead. So on a hit, they just they owe me a favor. Like they are willing to help me and give me aid, even if it exposes them to danger or retribution.
All right. So you get on the phone and out comes Ness Holloway. She's actually head, not just head of security for like Peachy Dorm. She's
Mhm.
like in charge of campus security. But so clearly the call got put up the wire, got interceded, or she was around, but she heard that you were the one asking. This is imagine, if you will, is this her? Yeah. Very Charlize Theron as Furiosa looking woman
Mm.
in her late 40s with the shaved head. Has but rather than a prosthetic arm, has a prosthetic leg.
Okay.
And just like the jacket on, and doesn't have the cap on, but pulls off like one of those hats with the ear flaps. Like, is it Mog? What's her face in the Fargo movie? Like a
Yeah.
proper
Yep.
greasy hat, but like steps in out of the cold and just like pulls her hat off and just like, "Duh, I hear you are sniffing around."
Well, sometimes rumors are misleading, and other times they are 100% exactly what is happening.
This is an active police investigation going on here, Dirk. I don't know what it is you want from me here.
Well, I'm a member of the press, and if there's one thing the press do, we track active police investigations. I am a journalist. Just because I have a love of puppetry doesn't mean I'm not a journalist, Ness.
All right.
That said, I know that journalists
you-
don't traditionally get access to security tapes, but I could use those security tapes.
Hey, come on. Because it's you. And I owe you. Come on.
All right. Look, I know I normally wouldn't ask. I would ask, but normally that you could tell me no. Like normally you could blow me off when I make what I recognize are the sorts of requests that I make. I realize they're a lot, but
You realize that you're a lot. That's a relief. Yes. Thank you.
it's important. Self-awareness is important to growth. This is about Ed, and that he's a special kid to me.
Her expression turns serious. She's like, I never would have thought that kid had it in him.
I don't think he did. And I call it a journalistic hunch. I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
All right. Well, you aren't telling anybody that I let you do this if the VCPD show up, all right?
I mean, if the VCPD show up, I delivered a cunning knockout blow, which left you completely incapacitated because I am a rogue. I am a powerful and dangerous rogue. Please stop laughing. I see you laughing under your breath. Please just let me have this.
Absolutely. I will tell them that you came out of nowhere. I have no idea who it was, but clearly somebody of great strength and dexterity. Truly.
You can at least try to say it without snickering, though. Like
Try that.
Yes.
Try. I look. You're the one in the media here. You're the showman. I am a lowly security officer, and she unlocks the door to the small security office here and beckons you in and shuts the door behind the two of you. All right. So I guess we're going to be rolling it to see what you can find out. But yeah, you've got full access here. So she
I wanna
is
pull
giving
up-
you help she
I want to
can.
pull up any tapes on the day of the murder and see if there's anything I can find, anything that is visibly of note or
Mhm.
anything that is visibly not interesting. Anything visibly or not visibly not recorded.
Mhm. Well, what you find first as you do this is the actual tapes look like it's been wiped of that day, but Ness like, well, that shouldn't be right, and is able to like pull up, does some tapping away at the keys and pulls up. They didn't clear out something properly and is able to restore the file enough that you can watch it. And what you're able to see on the tapes is everything sort of seems business as normal. You do notice in the day or so beforehand, you see Chloe moving around the building with Ed, and you see her putting up the marks that Hector identified as you came in. That was about 24 hours, I'd say, before the murder happened.
Sorry, who did you say was putting those up?
Chloe and Ed
Got
was
it.
helping her.
Okay. Interesting.
And at the moment of the murder, you see the cameras actually flicker. There isn't a camera in the students' rooms. They don't do that, but in the corridor outside, you recognize the effect that magic has on electronics. There is that kind of flicker of interference, and there's no sound on this camera either, but there's that interference, and you what else do you pick up here? Basically, what you're able to gather is whatever happened in that room happened entirely in that room. Nobody walked in. What happened is you saw Ed go in at one point, and then not long after, by the time so maybe an hour and a half later, this flicker happens, and then maybe 10 minutes later, that flicker happens again. And I think it's quite, but and you sort of see where some lights in the hallway pop with the magical interference again. The cameras survived it. And maybe an hour later, if that, you see people come in like coroner's office stuff, accompanied by a police officer, and take out a covered body, singular.
I am going to call up the workshop. I'm going to call up studio. Tell them that I'm on my way, and tell them I need a record of every magic book, every magical resource, every ritual that somebody could have undertaken in the last week. Like I need records of who was pulling these magics and what specific magical rituals were being pulled, because if we can figure out what they were doing in that room, we can start to figure out like we can figure out what we can deduce from there what they were working against. We have some leads, but I want to know what Chloe and Ed were going in with. I will be in 10 minutes. Also, did the pizza arrive, and did it arrive in time?
Yeah, Doug, it got here on time. We kept some back for you. It's all good.
All right, I will be in. Okay, perfect. I will be in I don't know, 5-10 minutes.
All right. Do you want us to like heat this slice up for you?
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, we'll get on that. And hang up, and yeah, the workshop gets the bustle in.
Yep. I want a magical record. I want specifically the information that I want is what magical. I want to find the information that is what magical rituals they were performing, and what rituals they were researching that they were performing in that room that like is why it like caused that glitch.
Sure, no problem. But it's going to mean exposing the workshop team to serious fallout.
You know what? They signed up for this. I'm cool with that. Like that
The
is
truth hurts.
that is a joke. That is like a funny answer, but it's also, I think, entirely serious. Like the people that are here at this moment, like I said, they were upperclassmen, and they are, I think, the people who have been around long enough to remember to actually like have seen like the times when we have done this in the past, when we have gotten serious about the supernatural underpinnings of the campus. Like once that happens, you are kind of in for life. Like this is kind of an internship program, right? Like you do it for 6 weeks, maybe you run a show for a year. These are the people that come back year after year, and the reason that they do that is because I handpick them, because they know like what we're really doing. They know the real mission, and they're the people that I trust to handle this mission. So if I expose them, if they are exposed to Fallout, they know the risks. They signed up for this, and they are the people that I trust to face that danger with me. And frankly, I wouldn't put my life in anyone else's hands other than these 3 college students. When I say that part out loud, it sounds odd, but you know what? That's journalism. That's journalism.
That's journalism, baby. Alrighty. We will pick up with the Dirk and the research team in just a moment. I'm just going to quickly check in with Hector.
Cool. So Hector he did pull out a sword, and then he put it back because he needs to do some other stuff first.
What it's like, I'm just imagining the sword from Camp Saltburn, like the big white glowy motherfucking sword.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say Glamdring,
Awesome.
Gandalf's sword from the movies. But that's also good. The Camp Saltburn sword is also good. The sort of the blade of the chosen. The angel blade. So we cut to Hector Dismas pushing along his janitorial cart, and there is a puppet sitting on top of it.
Yes, good.
I have taken this puppet out of Chloe's dorm room in PC Drums, and I'm taking it to the reading room, which is my sanctum sanctorum.
Okay.
What I am going to do is basically I'm putting Ed there for safekeeping. The reading room is a special room in the library. Many people know it. Only a scant few have access to it. And it is basically like the restricted section mixed with like a lounge that has it is where I keep a lot of my cleaning supplies. My sanctum, the features are a library of old tomes, magical wards, an extremely knowledgeable assistant, and an apothecary. The apothecary does involve like bleach and Windex and baking powder.
Assistant?
Well, that is the only person who's been here longer than I have, which is the ghost Laura Ziegler.
Okay, so you roll in, and she is like sat halfway in a table, cross-legged, looks up at you as you come in, and just like, Hector, why do you have a puppet?
You just go partially through things just to bug me. There's a chair over there.
She lets herself sink down slightly more into the table, maintaining eye contact with you the whole time.
There's a soul in this puppet. Then say hello to Ed. Ed can't talk except to me. I just need you to keep an eye. Yes, please keep an eye. Hey, you can't talk to anyone but me either.
As far as you know. I know people other than you, Hector.
Right. It's me, Yorith, and the Puppet Man.
I like Dirk.
Everyone likes Dirk.
That's not true. You know
Anyway,
Wait, it's not?
Um, anyway, I need you to keep an eye on this one, and also start looking up. I think Ed's body is pretty much a no-go in terms of places where this soul can go. So we're gonna have to start looking about coming up with a substitute. So if
Can't he
you can,
just come out of there?
sure, but I imagine he would like to, in some way, finish his schooling.
What? I don't see you helping me finish my schooling. Fuck! And walks
They
out
don't
of the side
offer
of
you
the
a
table.
major anymore. They discontinued the program in
Laura flips you the
1966.
and start sort of like doing what you've asked.
Listen, I thought that you liked being a ghost. If you want, we can build a body for you too.
Nah, and just like carries on with the research.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Fuck you.
Ed,
Flips through
Ed.
and stuff. Mhm.
This is Laura. Despite appearances and temperament, she's actually extremely good at what she does. You're going to be safe here. The reading room. No one disturbs the reading room. And I pat the puppet on the head.
I'm not a child. Says
You're a
Ed.
college student. You're a
I'm
child.
legally an adult.
There are
Trident.
greater laws than those of men.
Do you write this shit in advance? Says Laura.
It just
like-
kind of comes to you after a certain point.
That is tragic.
Well, which one of us can bend the shape of reality to their whims?
As books start flying off the shelves. She goes a
One
little
of them,
bit sort of
one of them
fainter.
hits me, and I'm like, "You didn't need that one."
Says you, but she goes a little fainter as she exerts the will needed to move stuff around, and then sort of like pops back in.
Right, the classic ghost, Urban Shadows ghost rules, which are really cool, honestly.
I didn't know that. I was just making that up. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Is that ghosts can like be visible, audible, or tangible. It's like 2 of the 3, and never all 3 at the same time. Yeah, it's neat. So she has to like go invisible to touch books. She goes poltergeist. Anyway, it's a cool thing about ghosts in the system. I'm gonna go check in with the others, and then we are going to pay some cable broadcasting magnates a visit.
Alrighty. Yorwith, what are you doing?
I think after the conversation with the Beast and Diane, Yoreth kind of like looks at Delarose for a minute, and then just kind of shrugs and says, "Let's catch up with Hector. I know where he hides." And leads them.
I think like you're able to.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah, he's just gonna lead them over to the reading room, and make a bit of a nuisance on the way in, just to irritate Hector.
I think you sort of open the door to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and you just hear a book smashing against a wall. Just like, are you? And then just like the shriek of Laura, who's sort of like beyond words a little bit right now. Actually, no, they've gone. She's gone silent because she is visible and also throwing things. I think a table has definitely been upturned, and she currently has like a bottle of Windex, and he's just like holding it like one might hold a pistol, I guess, just like trying to establish some boundaries, apparently. But you can't hear what she's saying because she's currently visible and holding something.
Mhm.
She looks pissed off though.
I am
Uh.
calmly putting the table back up.
What?
What? This is our thing. This is our dynamic.
Oh. Oh, okay. That Yorath kind of jerks his thumb over his shoulder in the vague general direction of the dorm and says Vamps must have used a portal to get in. I think they're trying to frame Ed. Not sure why.
Well, I mean, Ed's body is dead. So, or, well, all right, here's what I think happened. Vamps need Chloe for something. Chloe knows that. Chloe sets up some wards. Vampires circumvent the wards. Unfortunately, Chloe was also smart enough to have Ed there with her as extra backup. Unfortunately, Ed is a normal college student and was killed by the vampires. But Chloe was able to save Ed's soul, stuff it in a puppet. Now the vampires have a body and a kidnapped victim. And the body is not the person who's supposed to be in that room. They don't want people looking for Chloe. So they glamour Chloe's body to look like Ed. No, Ed's body to look like Chloe. Use that as a decoy so that Ed is the one that the manhunt is going on for, and Chloe is presumed dead. That's a lot of magic, a lot of illusions and portals.
Yorath pinches the bridge of his nose again and says, I grew up in a fairy court, and that's complicated even for me.
Well, that's just how it is on the mean streets of Verity City.
You hear the bottle of Windex hit the floor from behind your door and goes, "You are so full of shit, Hector."
Well, what else? What do you think happened?
No, I think you're right about what happened. I think you saying about that shit about Verity Shit City. That's the bullshit.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, so that is the bullshit. Anyway, I only know a couple of people that can pull off that level of magic, and that might give us a bit of an in.
All right, should we go grab Dirk?
Let's get Dirk and hit the streets.
All right.
Alrighty. So, Dirk.
Yes.
You make your way back over to the studio and your workshop. And when you get there, you find one of your undergrads is unconscious and being looked after by one of the others who is sporting or what was a really quite upsetting nosebleed. And it has a little bit of dried blood at the corners of her eyes. The third is just like furiously making notes and also has like a handkerchief underneath their nose that is still bleeding.
I brought donuts.
I could use the sugar, frankly. Oh,
I figured as much. I figured you could use it. You like Bavarian? I have Bavarian cream and I have jelly glazed.
Oh. That puts the tissue back, the handkerchief back under the nose. It's just like, I'm going to avoid jelly for a while.
Bavarian cream it is.
And takes the donut and gestures you over to what they have been able to figure out so far. You know enough to know that is some impressive magic backlash that has hit your research team, which may have slowed things somewhat. But again, that points to some intense levels of magic juice flowing through whatever they were managing to uncover. But what they have for you is what it looks like is they found that Chloe and Ed were doing should have protected the building against any creatures of night entering through any means. So what that tells you is that whoever came in through a portal was not connected to the Circle of Night,
He's not
which
a
means
vampire.
they're outsourcing.
Huh. Okay. Eating a slice of pizza with one hand and a lemon jelly donut with the other. I'm like, okay, so
Horrifying combination.
they've hired an outside contractor. So I think I suspect that my friends, I suspect that the other investigators on this particular mystery are on their way over here. So hey everybody, I just want to say thank you. I know that this has sucked. I know that this has been a rough day for all of us, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this, and we're gonna make sure that we're gonna do what we do best, and what we do best is make things right for people, because that's the role that the press plays in all of this. Are we all good?
The one who is sort of like fussing over the unconscious one gives you sort of a bit of a look, but also like a thumbs up. And the person who gratefully accepted the Bavarian cream, let me look at my list. This is Torren Wing. And just like, yeah, okay, you got it. Actually, something interesting wasn't quite what you were asking for, but I found
What do you got?
Chloe had stuff it looks like she was trying to keep off people's radar. Either some kind of defensive, like ward against a seeing eye, but also like some kind of suppressing an ability.
Huh.
Like she was trying to stop she didn't want to be seen, didn't want to be noticed, and I'm guessing she could do something that would get her noticed, which was what she was trying to keep under wraps. And I don't just mean like the ward in Magic. Like, I mean this, if you have enough talent, you can do the wards and stuff.
Sure.
But I don't think the research that she had, and I know Ed was not into this side of things. He knew a bit about what was going on, but he didn't have a gift for it. So it looks like she was maybe in doing the woods, she would have had to take off whatever she was doing to stop herself from being noticed to do the wards. So she must have been desperate.
Well, all right. See, that's what we're at. That's what we're after. That's good. That's good investigative journalism is what that is. And this is a delicious jelly donut.
Torren basically inhales like another second Bavarian cream. In that way that hungry college students seem to make food disappear at an upsetting rate, just like it's gone.
There's a reason why Dirk is continually bringing food into the studio.
Very good. It's very good.
All right. Well, let's get out there and solve a mystical murder.
Alrighty. We have our 3 investigators back together. As Ureth and Hector, you are able to catch up with Dirk.
Are there any more of those?
Pardon?
Are there any more of those?
The donuts.
There's jelly donuts. There are no more Bavarian cream.
There's one apple spice jelly donut.
Oh, perfect. So they sounds like the Onoroi were using
sort of a gift for my students.
Oh, you're a very generous man. Keeps eating it.
All right, so what do we got, gang?
There a lot of magic being used to do this.
Sure. Magic being used to hide something. It seems like Chloe could do something. I don't have an idea of what that is yet, but it seems like she was hiding something about Chloe, she, her, right?
Yes.
Seems like she was hiding something about herself that she didn't want anybody finding, and it seems like doing those wards put a spotlight on. It seems like she gave up that cover up in order to put these wards into place. So something, she must have known something was coming big enough to put a spotlight on herself for a little bit.
Yorath looks at Delarose.
They look shifty as hell. Like they're
You-
avoiding eye contact. They're like worrying their bottom lip. Like,
You came to me because you said that Chloe told you something.
mhm.
If we're going to help her, you're going to need to spit out what you know.
I think you're going to need to persuade an NPC unless you have a Fey move that lets you do something a little more potent.
Thankfully, this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, kind of.
You have the best heart of all of us.
Yeah. So let's see here. Let me go to. Yeah. Because I don't think he's not trying to. I have a move here for misleading, distracting, or tricking someone, but that's not what he's trying to do here. So, yeah, I'm just going to persuade an NPC straight up.
Alrighty.
Oh, but I do get advantage on it because we've only used one of
Yes.
those.
Badass.
So let me roll that. And it's a 10 on the die, so I'm not even going to roll that extra.
Okay. On a hit, they see your point and do as you ask. Alrighty. They let out a sigh and just like, it's, can I tell you in private? I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Yorath looks at the other two, nods, and pulls Delarose aside.
Chloe's an oracle.
Ah.
She's known before she transitioned. She's always been having dreams and things like, but she didn't want to get sucked into the politics of this town, so she hid it. She just wanted to be an artist.
That's understandable. Is that all?
Just, we come from a long line. She's powerful. I mean, I'm not. It just didn't. She's the firstborn. Seems to be how it goes. But yeah.
Okay, well, that explains why the Vamps would want her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how they knew?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Do any of you have any status with night?
I do not.
I have negative status. Or no, wait, that's not status. That's the other thing. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I on both counts I have negative status with night. I have a negative status, and my circle is -1.
Does anyone have anything neutral or positive with night?
I might be neutral. Let me double check. Let me see.
Yes,
What my
because we're using the Urban Shadows first edition character sheets, which only have one place to list
Yeah.
circles. And there are
Right.
Yeah.
different ways of using them in 2e,
Mhm.
which is super cool.
Yeah, I
Yes.
have 0 status with Knight.
I also have 0 status with Knight.
Okay.
I have -1.
All right. I want somebody to give me a roll. I want basically somebody to roll Knight to see what information you guys generally know about Onoroi as a faction. I'm Calvin balling this here. I'm looking at the roles that are around and available.
Could I maybe call on a contact?
Yes,
Because I have old friends and old favors.
absolutely.
Right.
This is something you
That's a
roll
partial
for.
success.
Alrighty, I'm quickly scrolling.
We still have advantage,
So-
so
Oh
uh,
yeah, roll another d6.
All right.
Okay,
Worse.
so it's still
Worse. Yep. All right. So that's
That's
a partial
alright.
success. On a partial success, this person is an old friend of mine. They will offer us comfort and aid, even if it exposes them to danger and retribution. But I have to tell you why I owe this person a debt.
All right.
So this person.
I
What
got
is
some names if you want one.
Give me a name, and I will say this person. I'm trying to think of who this person is to me and what debt that I owe them.
Okay. This is actually a pair of people. This is
Yeah.
a couple, Aldous and Nix Rosen. He, him, and they, them.
Got it.
I'll drop their names in here. Let me quickly check something. Nix is a spectre. So is of Night. And Aldous, much like yourself, is a bit of an investigator.
Oh,
So-
I owe I owed Nix a favor because there was a previous case that like I leaned on them for. Like they were a source that I went to for a news story,
Mhm.
and it went very badly. Like they kind of got exposed, and like they are kind of I think that they like had a very strong tie to the university, and that tie has been severed because they are kind of exposed, and now Aldous is sort of the conjuring investigator that they have sort of attached to as a counterpoint foil / romantic lover. And but like they were previously like a very keyed in spirit with a lot of like ties to the university that had been severed because they were sort of exposed in this news story.
Perfect.
That said, like it was also a news story that we'll say it undid a magical conspiracy that was hurting people. So like it's not something that they don't want me dead. They know that this was for the best, right? Like we busted a case that was causing a lot of people to get hurt, and so we've made the university a better place, but in doing so it cost them their home.
Okay, cool. So do you ring them up on the phone, or does the gang go see them?
I text Aldous and I'm like, headed over, start the ritual, need to talk to both of you. Let Nix know I'm coming. Because I don't want them to be surprised when they see me.
Sure. All right. Let me quickly check. All right. Are you all going, or are you taking your Whiff and Hector along?
Yeah, I'm taking. If I tell them both like I got a contact who I think can help us out here. you're welcome to come with. I grab a shotgun sized duffel bag. I'm gonna bring this. It's not what it looks like.
Mm. This is a contact that we need that with?
No, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it's not going to be a super lot of help, right? Like, I can't shoot a ghost with a shotgun. I mean, if there were a shotgun inside, but I mean, the case is getting hot, and I'd like to have my shotgun-sized duffel bag, which doesn't have a shotgun in it.
If you need to shoot ghosts, I can help you with that.
Wait, really?
Haven't you seen Supernatural?
Super what now?
God.
Oh my god.
Super what now?
I just felt my soul momentarily leave my body.
It's a television
There is no more
program.
puppets for your soul to go into. You
Um,
get hold of that.
I don't have a TV. I listen to the radio.
Mm. We both move through the world in strange circles. All right.
Look at JD Rockefeller with a television.
So Hector pulls his sword out of the janitor cart and says to the team here, the interns, make sure nobody touches my cart.
Don't boss around my students. One of you needs to mess with that cart. You mess with that cart.
I was gonna say, Torrin just looks at the now conspicuously empty donut box and just looks at you, just like, sure, okay.
All right.
Snakes and malcontents.
I pull another pile of money out of my other sock.
No.
I'm gonna leave this here. If we need snacks, the money is there for snacks.
Okay.
All right,
Hector
let's get going.
reaches into the shirt pocket of his janitorial uniform and pulls out a gold doubloon and he puts it next to the pile of money.
I think it's just you see like somebody pick up the doubloon, just like checking it, like, holy shit, is this real?
Yeah, that's Spanish gold.
Is this legal currency here? You hear as you leave.
My sword is glamored, so to most people, I'm just walking around with a broom.
Incredible.
Beautiful.
I love it. All right. So you'll make your way to it's not very far off campus at all. You wouldn't even need to drive there. You could walk it if you wanted to. But you arrive and Aldous lets you in. Aldous is a lanky, like looks taller than he is by virtue of being that kind of beanpole sort of physique.
Mm-hmm.
South Asian complexion, long hair pulled up into a bun and gestures you all in. And through to a back room where the ritual has been set up as you requested, Dirk. And and you can't see Nyx, but that doesn't mean they're not here. So, what do you do? The floor is yours, my players.
I lock eyes with Yorith and I lock eyes with Hector, and I'm like, there's an important ritual here that needs to happen, and I need the utmost silence and cooperation with both of you to make sure that we're not killed on the spot. Are we all in agreement?
Yorith nods.
I just nodded in real life. Hector also nods.
Nix, I'm so sorry. I cannot believe that happened, and I'm sorry that I haven't talked to you sooner. I've just been so embarrassed at what happened. Please, please forgive me. I know, but like you're doing so well, and like I'm barely keeping the studio together. So like, I'm really, really sorry, and like I promise I will not be a stranger in the future. I feel really, really bad, and I really, really want you to know that. Are we cool?
A specter becomes visible. This like 5 foot nothing Hispanic non-binary person with like super blunt bangs, choppy sort of bob around the edges, just is looking up at you, just like, we'll see.
All right, good. Thank you both for your cooperation in the ritual.
Yoreth looks like he's trying extremely hard not to laugh.
And I immediately like my posture, like I've been hunched over and like my posture straightens up, and I wipe the sweat off of my palms on my jacket, and I sit down very comfortably, and I'm like, well then let's get to business.
Nick sort of like rolls their eyes a little bit, sits like cross-legged opposite you on like a low table. Alda sort of like leans up against the wall in the corner, and leaves the other seats available for Yoreth and Hector to sit.
In case it is unclear, that is the 5th time that I've given that exact apology to Nix.
Good.
Perfect.
Yoreth will take a seat.
What do you need?
So, Knight got a hold of someone. They were looking for someone powerful, firstborn, capable of a lot. We need to know how they found her.
You know which faction?
Knight.
The Oroids.
Aldous lets out a low whistle, and he and Nix share a look. I mean, you're talking about a clan with a lot of resources, Duck. Who did they take?
It's a terrible, ill-advised, obnoxious, reckless death wish of a thing to try to get to the bottom of this and to bring this out into the open. All of which is to say, are you at all surprised that I'm moving forward with this?
Do I look surprised? And Nix just like waves their hand in front of an utterly impassive expression.
Exactly. Then we're in agreement.
I mean, I feel like this isn't. I'm not going to make you roll here, and not just because we only have like less than 20 minutes. And what Nix is able to lay out for you all is that Onoroi always have an oracle. They make a point to. Vampires can't be oracles. You need a mortal. You can't. The second you try to turn an oracle into a vampire, they lose their ability to do what they do. So there is always an in-house oracle for the Onorois, and when that oracle reaches the end of their life, their last duty is to find the next one for them. And only then are they released from their service to the clan. And if they don't find the new oracle for them, well, the cushy life that they've had up until that point, yeah, well, just because you're dead doesn't mean you can't still suffer. So I think what you're able to put together is that it's how they've probably been looking for Chloe or a powerful oracle for a while. and it's probably known in circles. And it might be the case that Chloe herself had a dream, or that the old oracle tried to talk to her and say, my time is up. They're going to be looking for you. And because Chloe opted for protection rather than staying hidden in the hope that it would be enough, it meant that a lock was able to be gotten on her. She made the wrong call. She took a gamble on the wards being enough, and it wasn't.
All right. Well, that makes things simple. And Yorath stands up, and he has very light green eyes. And it seems like all of the color leaves them so that they're gray.
Mm-hmm.
And he smiles real big, and his teeth are sharp. And he says, I'm going to go get her.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like these bloodsuckers are standing in the way of a gainful student's education. And that can't be countenanced.
Fuck it.
Hector holds up his sword with the pommel up. Want to hitch a ride?
Yorath shrugs. Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Does Dirk grab the sword?
Dirk grabs the sword, but before he does, he takes out a key. Like, he reaches into his pocket, he takes out a key, and he flips it in Nyx's direction. Like, so, yeah, if this goes the way that I expect it to go, that's yours, by the way. I figure it'll probably make it up to you at some point, or it probably makes up for what went down. Later, nerds. And I grabbed the sword.
Cool. So we all grab the sword, like playing who goes first with a baseball bat. And I spend my last hold to teleport. This is not exactly the spirit of the move, but I have been holding on to this hold all night, all morning. And I have one hold left, and we go where we need to go.
Excellent.
Right. And I think, given the time that it is, and I have to eat before I'm in the next stream as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the episode closes on the three of you like teleporting out of Aldous and Nyx's apartment, and Aldous like lays their hand out over the table and goes intangible, and the key falls to the table, and they look at Aldous and just like, you think they'll do it? And Aldous doesn't say anything, and the camera cuts to black. Credits roll. That has been Urban Shadows 2E, a Verity City story. I hope you have all enjoyed it. Please, before we do our sign-offs, Jeff, would you be so kind as to give me a rundown of what people can hear when they tune in to what was the radio station?
WSPN, that's member-supported radio from Verity City University. I'm just gonna pluck. I've written down. So I realized that I'm on the hook for, I believe, 7, but I wrote down about 20, and I'm just gonna read off all 20 now.
Hell yes.
We have eSports Night, which is a self-described Aaron Sorkin-styled talk show specifically about esports. We have Deep Undercover, which is a cover song swap show. 2 artists come on and they each do a cover of each other's songs. We have the original show from WSPN from when Dirk was a very young man and an active paranormal investigator, which is the Monster Mash, which is a satirical supernatural news show which reports on supernatural happenings. There's also the Monster Mash Up, which is a mashup spotlight show. There's the talk show, which is not what it sounds like. It is actually not a talk show. It is a talking heads like spotlight hour. There's the D&D Dudes, which is a radio-based actual play, which is just unbearably bad. Like, I really can't emphasize enough how bad this actual play is. There is the Vampire Masquerade, which is a goth music hour-long music block, which is ironically run by werewolves. There's also the Werewolves of London, which is a Brit-punk hour-long block, ironically run by vampires. There is the Swift of the Dead. There's the Swift and the Dead, which is a radio show which pairs the music of Taylor Swift and the Grateful Dead. There's the Friday 13, which is the weekly top 10 style show, except they do 13 every week. There is West Craven's New Nightmare, which is a new music spotlight hour. People get very confused. They think that's a typo and that they're going to be hearing a production of Wes Craven's New Nightmare. They answer a lot of phone calls about that. We've been looking into it. There's the Little Rascals, which is our sports team review, which is our all college sports podcast. There is Urban Shadows, which is a call-in confessional show that runs late at night. There is I Have No Mouth and Must Ska, which is our all ska power hour.
Oh my god.
From 12 to 1 every day, you can hear the Naked Lunch, which is an all bare naked ladies power hour. There's also the Wizarding Hour, which is from 12 to 1, which is a retrospective podcast of the band Wizard with 2 Z's. And there's My So-Called Student Life, which is the only actual student issues podcast, or I keep saying podcast, radio show on the network, on the station.
Oh my god.
So thank you for donating and making all of these pitches, making me say all of these pitches on air. They made me very happy to write.
Extremely good. What a thriving student community.
Really, radio is the artistic vanguard of the artistic vanguard of student life.
Okay, well, this has been the first stream of, or the first part of a stream of 4. We are raising money for Fair Fight and the great work that they do in the upcoming runoff election in Georgia. I have been Jade Elliott. You can find me on Twitter at JadeOxfordRose. You can find me on Follow the Leader along with Zachary, an actual play podcast where we play GM-less games at FTLcast on Twitter. And I will let other people talk about their various things that they do, starting with our amazing guest, Jeff. Jeff, where can people hear you and find you, and what do you do?
I'm Jeff Stormer. I'm a podcaster, game designer, and the unofficial LARP designer of the Olive Garden restaurant. You can find all of my work at jeffstormer.com. Podcasts I produce include Party of One, which is an actual play focused on 2-player role-playing experiences. I also co-host All My Fantasy Children, which is a podcast on the One Shot Network about character creation and world building in role-playing games. Also on December 23rd at 8 p.m. at twitch.tv/GMJeffStormer, I'm going to be running what I think is my most important podcast of the year, and that is Talking Nog, which is a yearly tradition honoring a yearly tradition. It is the world's foremost podcast all about eggnog. And also I make games at jeffstormer.itch.io, including Anyone Can Wear the Mask, which went on to pre-order yesterday and will be out Wednesday the 16th. And you can follow me on Twitter at Party of One Pod.
Really stoked for Anyone Can Wear the Mask. I gotta check that out.
Amazing. Danielle.
I've been Danielle. You can find me on Twitter at RedTailTalk90. You can find the games that I write, including an Animorphs hack of Blades in the Dark at redtailtalk90.itch.io. You can listen to me on The Room Where It Happened, which is an actual play podcast. Currently, we're playing What If the Fast and the Furious, except in Appalachia, except in space. You can find us on Twitter at RoomWherePod. You can find my other actual play podcast, Dumb Kids Playing Hero, in which we play the aforementioned Animorphs Blades in the Dark hack. And it's amazing. And you can find that on Twitter at DKPHPod.
And Zachary. Send us home.
Hello, my name is Vin Zachary Frederickson. You can find me at Obfuscating God on Twitter. You can find the music I make at iambugbear.bandcamp.com. In addition to Follow the Leader, you can also no longer in upcoming episodes hear me and Jade on the aforementioned Rumor It Happened podcast. You're going to have to go back into the feed a little bit to hear the song of the Shelbys and how they interact with the Wyverns crew. A fantastic set of episodes, and that show's just keep it on going. If you want to hear examples of me running games, you can become a patron of the Follow the Leader podcast, where we'll be finishing up our 6-part City of Mist mini shot this month.
Hell yeah. All right. Anyone that donated for a monologue, please feel free to DM me on Twitter and let me know what you would like as your request. Please stay tuned on the channel. We are kicking off with the Tall Grass, a sequel to the For the Honor game. Brian, tell people about that because I need to go eat food badly. Thank you so much.
It's standingstonesproductions@gmail.com. Yep. Peace.
Bye, everybody.